Hey everybody, it's Pete the Neff, doing our first little tutorial as promised last week. This one comes from Salpi, who wrote in with a question saying, how can I strengthen my left hand as it pertains to, she's working on Beethoven's Pathetique Sonata, which is a sonata that I never really studied when I was young. But it's a really great piece, and actually I've been messing around with it a little bit lately. It's actually quite fun to play. If you don't know it, you're not familiar with it, let me just read through a little bit of it here for you so you familiarize yourself with the piece. I'm sure you've heard it before. It goes like this. Anyway, I'm sure you've heard that before. Beautiful piece, gorgeous. That particular part right there, that's not the left-hand part that Salpi was talking about. It's coming up on the second page where we have these little kind of disco bass line in the left hand, right? These alternating octaves. Right? Not Billy Joel. Maybe that's where he got it from. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that her hand gets a little bit tired after practicing these parts right here. So first thing we're going to need to do this exercise is some sort of a metronome. You might have one of these old Seiko SQ44s laying around. I like this one. I find it convenient. I don't always want to have to pull out my smartphone to use a metronome, but you can. Smartphones have got beautiful metronomes, iPads, digital keyboards, whatever. So make sure you got yourself a metronome. And let me show you the spot that she's talking about here. See if I can play it. Let's see here. So it gets real quick here, right? Okay, so that's the spot there. It comes back throughout the whole piece. We have this thing happening. And so it can get really tiring depending on your anatomy of your hand, how strong your left hand is. Everyone knows your left hand on the piano is your weaker hand. It's true, even for me. I'm left-handed, and it's my weaker hand too on the piano, even though mine might be stronger than many people's left hands. It's always a struggle to get it to keep up with the right. Right is always the dominant hand on the piano. So we want to do exercises, work out that left hand a little bit extra to help it kind of keep up. And so I have a pretty good span of a tenth here in my left hand. So octaves aren't too big of a deal for me. If you have a smaller reach, like say you can only reach a seventh or an octave, it's going to be a little more of a strain for you, but it's not impossible. So what we need to do is this. We need to put our metronome on and set it to somewhere that's comfortable. So let's say these are written as eighth notes in cut time, but let's just say that we're going to play sixteenths. And so what you want to do is make them nice and staccato. Really kind of get up off the keyboard, because if you practice them staccato, they're going to be more articulate when you play them. Even staccato with a little bit of an accent in there. So notice I'm playing real staccato and light. So the next thing we can do is we can say play a scale. Let's just take a C major scale and play this. play it like that. Or let's make it twice as long. Let's just do 1 bar per note. Like that. Real articulate. Don't play it faster than you can play it clean, because if you can't play it clean slow, you're never going to play it clean quickly. So you got to keep it nice and clean. If you want to get the right hand involved, maybe play tenths or octaves. I like playing tenths, and do them in parallel motion and then maybe in contrary motion. So let's try it. Let's do parallel motion. Now contrary motion. Okay, so there's all sorts of things. You use your own creativity. Figure out how you want to do it. Play in different keys, you know. You know, do it in D flat, whatever. Do it in minor keys. Anyway, you can get those things really cooking after a while. So that's part of the exercise. And remember, it's not going to happen in one day. You need to keep at it every day, every day, every day, every day. You got to practice. Practice with the metronome. Start slow. Move up incrementally, 1 click at a time. Don't just jump up and play quick. Don't do what I just did. It took me 30 years to get here, so it's going to take you a few days. So let's just put it somewhere. We're going to practice that little section. And what I suggest, my music teacher, my piano teacher, Mrs. Gibson, used to make me practice Chopin or Beethoven with no pedal at all. She'd say, just learn the notes and let your fingers do the work. Because once it sounds clean and sounds pretty solid without the pedal, once you put that pedal in, it's going to sound really clean and it's going to sound beautiful. So it was a lot of students and professionals, they hide behind the pedal. They just put that pedal down and it just sounds like a big mess, and you can hide all the clammy notes inside of there. Nobody can hear it because it just sounds like a big wash. Don't do that. It sounds so much better if you play clean and then use the pedal. So it's a sort of a different approach. I kind of have a little more of a conservative approach to using the pedal just because of my training. So let's practice this with no pedal at all and just real slow. Then like kind of like that, right? Wrong tune. Okay, let's do this one. Here we go. Okay, we're just going to take that. Let's just take those 8 bars. That wasn't bad. I think I could play it better. Let's just keep it the same. If you make a little clam, make a little mistake, you got to listen to yourself. Leave the metronome where it is, or make it slower if you have to. So let's try it again. And 4. Okay, so yeah, not horrible. Let's try it a little faster. So again, 1 click. You can barely perceive it. You sort of trick your hands into playing faster and faster. Okay? Resist the tendency to go farther than you intended. What I like to do is I like to practice in sections, 4-bar sections, 8-bar sections. And then I like to end on beat 1 of the next section. That way when I practice the next section, I've already sort of practiced through the seams. So I'm kind of dovetailing one section into the next. It's like you're digesting little pieces at a time. And that's going to actually help you memorize pieces quicker too. So here, I'll just say that I went through it a little bit here. Now let's see if I can do it right here. Okay, feels pretty good. It starts becoming natural. You want to get to the point where you're not thinking about it. It just kind of happens. But you should be able to do that all day long. So if you get tired, I should warn you, if you get tired, you got to stop. You got to shake that hand out. You have to stretch a little bit. You know, do a little this. Stretch your hands out. Don't let your hand tense up and get in pain. Sometimes we take things too fast or for too long. We tense up our hand, and then that's how you injure yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to knock out your hand, and you won't be able to play for a month because you're hurting all the time, or wind up with tendonitis. Luckily, I've never had that because we were taught that you develop good technique, and if things start getting uncomfortable or hurting, you got to stop. You can't work through the pain. You got to stop. You got to relax for a little bit, and then keep going. And it's a day-by-day thing. It's not in one day. So, okay, so sounding pretty good, pretty clean. Let's add the pedal back in a little bit now. I'm sure some people play this with very little pedal. I like a little more in here, not to hide behind, but just because I like the way it sounds. So. Okay, so there you go. That's how you do it. So keep practicing. Practice those octaves. Get that disco bass line going, okay? Find different ways to practice it. You know, practice it chromatically. Do it with both hands. Anything you do to just make those particular muscles stronger and make that movement just feel natural. All right. So that's it for today. I think we went a little longer than I had expected, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions for me, just message me, send me an email, Facebook, Messenger, whatever. Text me if you know me. It can be about jazz piano, it can be about classical, it can just be about technique, it can be about electronics, it can be about Middle Eastern playing. It really doesn't matter. This is a free forum for everybody to learn something about how to get better and how to have fun. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. All right, take care.